well, there's really nothing like fall. And this week, I want to look at 2 wines from California that really embrace fall. So stay tuned. So in this week's episode, we're going to look at 2 wines that will really help us at the early stages of fall, where it's still pretty hot where we are today as we film, but I'm looking forward to it to cool down. These wines will help really bridge the 2 seasons. Let's take a look at each one. So our very first wine is the La Crema Pinot Gris from Monterey, California. And I picked La Crema because I think if you've seen some of my episodes before, you know how what a huge fan I am of all of their wines. And so I wanted to pick this one. And I tend to like the wines from Monterey where it's cooler and the wines tend to be a bit more crisp and have some nice acidity and not too heavy in their body. Well, this one definitely fits that. In fact, I thought this one for Pinot Gris, it's very nice. It has some of that stone fruit, and it has a little tropical fruitness to it. It has some nice acidity, very light in body, and it's all made in stainless steel, 97% of it anyway. And so it may remind you, if you've tried an unoaked Chardonnay, we featured those on our show. This was quite nice. So you don't have any of the oakiness to deal with. There's no vanilla, or you're not going to have that smoothness that you would from some of those oaked Chardonnays. So very crisp, very refreshing. If you know you already like Pinot Grigios from Italy, I think this Pinot Gris from California is going to be a very nice one. I found it to be just maybe a little lighter than I normally like my Pinot Gris to be, and that's because I know I drink quite a few of them from Oregon and from Alsace, France. So make sure you look out my episodes where I talk about wines from both of those regions. But again, La Crema makes excellent wine, so it's still very good. I found it to be one of those wines that's a little lighter on my spectrum, but actually it turns out really well because I'm having it today, and it is quite warm, and it's going to go very well with the grilled chicken I'm making, and I'm going to put it on salad, again, to keep it cool and nice. So that would be great. And I would also have this with lots of vegetarian dishes, and also if you like goat cheese, maybe put some goat cheese on your salad and have this. I think it'd make a very nice pairing. So this wine, again, La Crema Pinot Gris from Monterey, hopefully is that light-bodied, refreshing wine that you've come to like from unoaked Chardonnays and Pinot Grigios from Italy, and I think you're going to like it. Let's take a look at our second wine, and it is the Ulema Pinot Noir from Sonoma County from Amici Cellars. And I picked this one up at Total Wine right around the $20 mark. You may be able to get it on sale for a little less. I picked this Pinot Noir because it fits our style that we're looking for today, which is what wine is sort of that wine that helps transition from summer into fall. So I don't want anything to be too heavy of a red, even though I love those once we start getting to the winter time. And I don't want it to be too light, right? So it's not going to be like my rosés that we are so fond of that we had all summer long. So this one is right in the middle there, where it's a nice light to medium acidity, a nice medium body. It's not too full and it's not too lean. A very nice wine that you could use for a special occasion, or it'd be great even for a Tuesday night. If you've had one of those days that we've all had and you just want to open up something that's not a huge splurge, but something that's very nice, the Ulema, I think, fits the bill perfectly. Nice, bright cherry fruit, and has smooth body, not too tannic, not too acidic. Really quite pleasant. In fact, it's one of the wines I recommend, all Pinot Noirs for the most part, but especially ones from California, and this one in particular. If you wanted to try red wine, but you've been a little reluctant in the past, or maybe somebody you know who's a little reluctant to try red wines, the Pinot Noirs from California, especially Sonoma, are quite nice wines to be for your first time trying red wines. And I think this one's excellent. So look for it at Total Wine & More. And I think you're going to be quite impressed, as it's able to do everything from roast duck or grilled sausages or a roast chicken, and especially some salmon. It's great with food. It's pretty nice by itself, and I think is just a very nice experience for you. So we looked at two wines this week, a Pinot Gris from Monterey, California, and the Pinot Noir from Sonoma County in California. So with the La Crema Pinot Gris, again, this one I put in our show this time because yes, it's a transition fall for us, but this Pinot Gris was much more on the lighter side. Light body and still had stone fruit, which is quite nice, which reminds me of the fall and some of the tropical fruits as well. But I'd say on the spectrum, this one's on the lighter side and closer to summer, which today absolutely feels like we're still absolutely in the grips of summer. And then the Ulema Pinot Noir has a little bit heavier of a body, so now it's pretty much right where it should be. I wouldn't serve it hot days in the 80s or 90s, but when it starts to get a little cooler, say in the 70s, and you want to have it for that grilled salmon or roasted salmon dinner, that would just be perfect. One thing I wanted to mention, and this is a great thing for you to have at the next party you go to, and maybe hear some discussion about what's variety and then what's a varietal. Well, the Ulema producers really pride themselves in being what they call varietal specific, or true to a grape's natural state. So if it's a Pinot Noir, it's going to have those characteristics of Pinot Noir or Sauvignon Blanc. You know, if it's Sauvignon Blanc, lots of grapefruit and grass. If it's Pinot Noir, lots of dark cherry and a little earthiness to it. So a great thing to remember is variety is the type of grape, right? So a Pinot Gris is a grape, so the variety is a Pinot Gris. Same with Cabernet Sauvignon or Pinot Noir. So the grape variety is a Pinot Noir or Cabernet Sauvignon, etc. But if I look at the bottle, I look at the label and it says Ulema Pinot Noir, well, that's a varietal, because the wine is showcasing, if you will, what grape is in it. So the grape is Pinot Noir, so we would call that a varietal wine. So it's not a blend where you're not sure exactly what's in it, like Bordeaux's, right? So I could say it's a Bordeaux, but we don't know which grape variety is in it. We have a pretty good idea it's going to have Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot and Malbec and Cab Franc, etc. So hopefully that helps, and I'll put those two definitions in the description box again so you can read up on it before your next party. And then when you hear people going, well, is this a variety or is it a varietal? What's the difference? Now you know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode where we looked at Pinot Gris and Pinot Noir, perfect for the fall. And thank you for being such great subscribers and telling your friends and family and coworkers about my channel. I sure appreciate it. Send me your questions and I'll do my very best to answer them as we share the world of wine together. Well, cheers, everyone.